Hello everyone, welcome back. We're going to do a little more RNG today, and we're going to get into the breeding. And breeding is quite an endeavor, but I think that personally, I think it's fun, and it is also probably the easiest way to get the best possible Pokemon. There are two different ways of doing breeding. The first one is if you are doing it with no shiny charm, no matsuda method, and then the second is if you have one or both of those. So I'll go over both of them so you get an idea of how they both operate, and then you get to choose which one you prefer to use. I'll say which ones that I prefer, but you do you. You can do whatever you want. So let's hop into that. We are already in the area, right here at the nursery. And I have two Pokemon. So let's show this. So first off, we have our Greninja that we caught last time. Now, I mentioned that it was the perfect Pokemon, you know, besides stats and nature and everything. But yeah, so we're gonna use that Greninja, and then I have this Ditto Breedmaster. Which is a really good Ditto. I actually caught it on my stream, so you can watch if you go back to my Twitch channel. You know, shameless plug right here. But if you go to my Twitch channel, you can go in my VODs and see me actually catch this one. But this is a really strong Ditto, and it has a Destiny Knot for breeding purposes. I'm not going to get too much into the different mechanics of how breeding works, but Destiny Knot allows you to carry over 5 IVs from the parents as opposed to just the normal amount. So yeah, we're going to use Breedmaster here, and we're going to go ahead and just deposit these over at the nursery. I believe are Ash. Yep, you take care of Ash, and you can also take Breedmaster. Alright. So now I need to refresh some seeds, and I'm also going to bring up my tool. Alright. And go ahead and get my egg seeds. So, you can see right here I've got a slightly different display, and if you look at the upper right, you have the egg seeds. So these are actually not related to your, they're not related at all to your, initial seed. These are completely separate, but I'm going to go ahead and put these in here. Just pre-populate them. But yeah, these are determined ahead of time. Whenever you pick up an egg, it will, whenever you accept or reject an egg, these will change. But you just put them in here, in the order that it says. So you want 3, 2, 1, 0, 3, 2, 1, 0. So you have that. And accept that. So okay. So then this is the egg RNG tab. Now you can actually ignore this. Your initial seed doesn't come into play yet, so you don't need to have it. I pre-populated it just to have it, but you don't need to worry about it. Your trainer shiny value is important if you want a shiny egg eventually, but right now eggs are generated in two different steps. Without using the Matsuda method or a shiny charm, the IVs and nature and gender and ability and ball, everything will be determined in advance. All those will be set, and then after you get the egg you want with the IVs you want, then you use the normal frame method of making the Pokemon shiny value match whatever you want. So in my tool here, I'm going to update my parents here, so you can see what we have as our parents, and I'll be able to input their IVs into the tool here. In the case of Ditto here, you make sure that you mark is Ditto. So let's say, so we've got a male Greninja over here. So Ditto's genderless, but you just over on the tool mark Ditto is female. Alright, so we got, it's almost perfect IVs, 29 here. Item is a Destiny Knot. Then you go ahead and mark your IVs for our Grey Ninja here. So we've got, let's see, 28, 16, 21, 24, 31, 21, and no item on him. And that's obviously important because if you don't mark them right, you won't get the right stats with your egg. So you can ignore this. Other TSV Shiny, ignore all that. Matsuda Method, ignore that if you're not using Matsuda Method. Which again, Matsuda Method is if you are using a non-English Pokemon, or rather, a Pokemon of a different language from what your language is. So let's say you're running it in French. If you have an English Ditto, that would be using the Matsuda Method. If you're an English cart and you have an English Ditto from another person, that's not using the Matsuda Method. But yeah, ignore that, and ignore main RNG egg. That's for later. Nano type is if you're breeding Nidorans. I'm going to ignore that one for now. And of course you can set your gender ratio. I'm just going to leave all that blank because I honestly don't care about the gender. But you might, so just note that. Alright, so over here we can set our stats. So you can set, okay, I want 31 here, but one thing that I like is I'm just going to set here 5 perfect IVs. That's what I want. Actually, you know what? 5 perfect IVs. And I've got my egg seeds already pre-populated, and I can even specify which ones I want. You can specify the gender, you can specify the ability. Keep in mind that unless you have a hidden ability Pokemon, there's no way you're going to get a hidden ability. In this case, I'm going to leave it blank because, again, Froakie only has the one ability and a hidden ability. You can set the hidden power type as well, nature. Do that. Whatever you want. The ball, since I'm breeding Dittos, it doesn't matter. So the ball is just going to be whatever the Grey Ninja's in, which I believe is a luxury ball. Alright, and then you got your frame range. So your eggs go with a whole bunch of different... egg frames start at 0, so make sure you're starting at 0, otherwise you'll get a little bit messed up. And then you can set an arbitrary number. I'm only going to go to 500, because you'll see. You'll see. Alright, then we hit calculate. So I'm looking at only 5 or more perfect IVs. And you can see in here the way it's colored. So you see these are pink. That means that they came from the female parent. And if it's marked as blue, then it came from the male parent. And if it's not pink or blue, that means that was randomly generated. Since I have a Destiny Knot, 5 IVs are carried over from both parents. So there's only going to be one random. And here you see that this is just a random 31. And you can see that in the first 500 eggs, there are not any... there's not any 6 IV Pokemon coming up. It's rare. It's rare, especially since these are not a great pair. They only got 1 perfect IV here, so you need to have the stars aligned just right. But you know, you increase it. I don't know. We'll go up to 5,500. Alright, now we got a lot more to choose from. Do we have a 6 IV one? No. Yes, we do. It's quite a distance away. You're like, oh, okay, 1612. That's not a big deal. Well, let's see. Set this as the target frame. So now we've got frame 1612 as the target frame. When you get whatever egg you want, you can set it at, right-click it and set it as a target frame. Click this shortest path button, and then calculate. And now, this tells you exactly how you're going to reach that frame. As you can see here, right here it says, accept 62 eggs, reject 2 times. So, you accept all these eggs, 62 eggs, except when you get to this egg here, you reject it, accept, reject. And then, this egg right here, you can see, is that this one, egg number 65, that will have the stats you want. So, I am not going to go through all that. I'm not going to go through 64 eggs in order to get there. So I'm going to go with this one right here. Let's see, shortest path to that one. So that's still accepting 17 eggs and rejecting 5 eggs. It's quite a ways away, but you know, it's not bad stats at all. I didn't set the nature, but it's an adamant nature. I kind of like that. So we're gonna go with 473, and so we're gonna have to accept a lot of eggs. But such is life. I'm gonna go ahead and hide this, and I'm gonna go start getting eggs. Nothing I can really do about this. See how well they're getting along. They don't like each other very much, but I do have an oval charm, so hopefully it's not as bad. So yeah, this is my favorite spot to farm for eggs. You can also see in the tool itself, it says egg ready, no egg yet, so... Oh, the egg's ready. Oh right, that's not updated. There we go. Now it's updating. So you can already see when an egg is ready in the tool if you're not right in front of them. So let's see, we're accepting this first egg. So you just make sure you accept it. And now you see that my egg seed changed. Let's bring up our tool again. So you can see... Yes. You can see here that after accepting this egg... These were the seeds that we had originally, you can see. And then we accepted the egg. We go to... Now the egg seeds are these, which match correctly here. So we know we're still on the right track. Just so you can keep that in mind. Since we've got a lot of eggs, we got 22 eggs to deal with. I am obviously not going to do this on the video with you. I'm gonna cut away, and we'll come back when I have finally reached that last egg. Just keep follow along here. Make sure you don't accept an egg that you're supposed to reject because and let me show you why. So we're gonna go back. You see advance. This is the number of frames that you advance if you were to accept or reject the egg. Let's clear out all our stuff here. So you see, if frame 0, we accepted the egg, so we advanced 43 frames. Go back here. See, frame 43 is the second egg. So if you reject it, I believe it advances 2 frames or 1 frame. Yeah, you see this one down here is rejected, and then the next frame is 368. So if you accept an egg that you were supposed to reject, that might throw things off. It might not be unsalvageable, but it might mean that you have to end up rejecting a lot more eggs, because let's say you're 5 frames off, now you have to reject another 5 frames of 5 eggs. So it'll take a while, but the good news is that once you get to this final egg here, if you don't care about it being shiny or not, just accept the egg. As soon as it pops, you don't care about your frame, you just grab it and go, and it will have these exact stats you want. And I'll show that off, because I can use saves. But yeah, so I'm obviously not going to have you sit and wait while I go through a ton of eggs. So we will meet back up in, well, however long it takes. I'll just be spinning around here. No, I don't need to use another repellent. I'll just be spinning here. Don't mind me. Here we are. We've made it. We finally are at the end of this massive egg accepting and rejecting spree. And you can see that, let's make sure that everything's up to date. We're gonna update. Yeah, so there we go. We've got our egg stats. Let me bring up our tool again so you can see it. And we can see, here we are, that the egg seed here matches the egg seed here, but don't just take my word for it. Let's also confirm it as well. So I'm going to just go ahead and I already saved in front. We'll accept the egg, and let me, yeah. So now it's in our party, and we will go ahead and take a look and see what its stats are. So the window's going to get a little weird here for a second, because yeah, the windows are weird. We'll update it. Oh yeah, so that was from a previous test where I made sure that it was in fact correct. But here we go. Alright, so we update it, and you can see the Pokemon shiny value is... it's obviously not shiny, but that's because we weren't aiming for it to be shiny here. We were just doing for check. But yeah, we got Male, Adamant, 31 IVs across the board except for Defense, and Dark Hidden Power. So everything matches. This is exactly what we wanted. So now we have to actually RNG the shininess itself. If you're not using the Matsuda method, everything about the egg is set except for the Pokemon shiny value. The Pokemon shiny value is set when you accept the egg, what frame you accept the egg. So that means that you can do this and get the stats you want, and now all you have to do is you can make any single egg you want shiny. So we're going to go ahead and I'm going to restart my emulator, so bear with me. Because obviously we need to not be in a state where we've already accepted the egg, because once we accept the egg, you can see here that its shiny value is set. So we can safely ignore our egg information here. So I'm going to go ahead and adjust things, and I'll be right back in a minute. Okay, so we've got our setup at least more or less acceptable. So we've got now we actually do need our initial seed, because we're actually going to be doing some RNG. So let's bring up my tool here. Let's put in the seed. Okay, perfect. So now, of course, you want to have your shiny values. This, if you care about it. Make sure you don't have the shiny charm checked. Make sure you're not using the Matsuda method, because if you were using it by mistake, this won't work. So now it's time to go to main RNG egg PID. Now, here's an interesting thing. You can generate an egg with whatever shiny value you want, and if you generate an egg with a trainer shiny value other than yours, let's say you've got a friend who has a trainer shiny value of 1111, you can do that. You can do other trainer shiny value, and clean that, and you can define the trainer shiny value somewhere. But you can actually look for an egg with a specific trainer shiny value, and then generate that egg, and then give it to your friend, and let them hatch it, and they can get their own shiny. But regardless, we're going for one on my own account. So yeah, you click main RNG egg PID. You got your frame ranges. This might look familiar, and that's because this is exactly like we're RNGing anything else in the wild or whatever. So we need to. However, this time we don't have to care about stats at all. The egg's stats are completely set, so all we care about are shiny frames. And keep in mind, though, that we are going to have to create a timeline. So this is all going to go out the window very shortly. So I'm going to hide this so you can see. I can get to the final screen here. Stand in front. Yep, say surprising news. Do you want the egg your Pokemon is holding right? Okay. This here is the final screen. When you press A here, this is when everything gets set in stone. So now we are just going to go ahead and treat this like any other RNG. Alright, so we got our tool, we got our initial frame. We're going to have to generate a timeline, just like we always do. The NPCs. let's find out how many NPCs we're dealing with, because it says 4, you can get up to 7, 8, whatever. No, so that went from 8-7 to 9-3, so that's 6 advancements. That was another 6. So that looks like that's 6. Alright, so it looks like we have 5 NPCs in the area, which is actually fairly normal. So let's go ahead and try that, because there might be 7. We'll see. It's a little bit screwy. Alright, save frame only. Here we go. We'll create our timeline. Let's see. Does it hold up to this? 24. See, there we go. We already were wrong, because that advanced 7. Because, you know, why not? There's a Tauros running around in the background, there's some trainers, there's a mill tank, there's a whole lot of stuff that can mess this up. So, you know, keep that in mind. Alright, so 6 NPCs, let's see. This is 1940. $38 to $45 is 7. We are doing math live. Well, or rather, I'm doing math live, which is never a good thing. 1945. All right, it says that it's a a safe frame. So let's give it a shot. See if that's right. 52, 59, 65, 71. All right. I'm not 100% confident, but I'm confident enough. So now we just click our shiny only. This is just like we're doing any other timeline, and except that you can see here the stats are all set. The eggs are in the stats are incorrect because our eggs are not our egg stats are not correct. So here, let me just update that real fast. Nope, that's not right. All right, so I'm just updating our egg stats so that this way you'll at least make sure that you can see in the tool that everything's right. But the tool has no bearing on what actually is going to be. But yeah, okay, there we go. So now we have everything is right here. But you can see that the stats were never going to change. The eggs, everything is set except for the Pokemon shiny value. So alright, 31216 is our first one. So we got a ways, but you know it is what it is. All right, let's set that as our target frame, and we will go on our merry way. So I will catch you in a few. Go back to the right tab here. Catch you in a few minutes here when I reach our target frame. Alright, here we are. We are almost there. We're hopping so many frames at once here. Alright. 31216. Alright. So here everything is lined up. And so let's hold down A in advance. And we got the egg. Alright, so now let's give it a check in our tool. This is the easiest way. Alright, great. We can see right here that it is in fact what we wanted, because the Pokemon shiny value is 923 out of 923. Well, or rather, the right side is mine, and the left side is the Pokemon shiny value. So it matches up. It will be a shiny Froakie when it hatches. You can see friendship is 20. That's actually the number of egg cycles you need in order to hatch it. So there we go. We got it. So let's save the game here. We got it. We're happy. I don't have a Flame Body Pokemon, but I do have the next best thing, which is a Roto Hatch. Once I find it. So that'll at least speed things up a little bit. And back to our Tauros drifting until this hatches. Alright, here we are. We finally got the O. Here we go. And our egg is hatching. I mean, we already know the results here, so there isn't much suspense, but I'll pretend to be surprised. Oh my gosh! It's just Shiny Froakie, everyone! Holy cow! Alright, that aside. So there you go. That's exactly how you can breed whatever Pokemon you want. With the stats you want. As long as you're patient, you can reject a lot of eggs, and you can get whatever you want. So there we got our better Ash. And let's save the game. But I've been talking about this using the non-Matsuda method, non-Shiny Charm way of breeding. There is a second way of breeding. Now you'll notice that I don't have a Shiny Charm, and that's for good reason. So I'm going to bring up my tool again here. And we're going to go ahead and bring up our egg seeds as well, so we can see. Oh, we already have them updated, but let's update our tool so we're on the right tab. Alright, so we've got everything exactly the same. We're going to unclick this main RNG egg PID because we don't care about this anymore. So, you can see that, you know, our stats are all predetermined. Now, if you have the Matsuda method or a Shiny Charm, then that changes things. In that case, the egg shiny value, the Pokemon shiny value, will also be predetermined. So if I click Matsuda method here, and that if you are using the Matsuda method, click that, and now you can see now there is a new tab here, and that's the Pokemon shiny value and the PRV as well. These are all, every single one of these will be set as soon as the egg spawns. So you don't have to mess around with frames or anything. So that's the advantage, is that you don't have to worry about if you don't want to mess around with frames, you don't have to worry about that. So now you can just search whatever stat you want. Okay, I want a shiny egg. Here we go. I found a shiny egg, and now all I have to do is set it as my target frame and figure out the shortest path. Now, this is where the problem comes in. You can see this. You're accepting 601 eggs, rejecting 7 eggs in order to get this. So you need to get lucky with your seeds, really. And this ends up getting you there eventually. Oh boy, going through this long list. And then we finally get to one with the right value. So that's the downside. Now, if you have a Shiny Charm too, I click the Shiny Charm because that just indicates it. It does change things a little bit. It makes it slightly better. Here's results without the Shiny Charm. Here's the results without the Shiny Charm. And here's the results with. Well, yeah, you know, it's it's a little bit tricky here. You're looking at a ton of different eggs that you're going to have to accept and reject in order to get to whatever your target is. And look, I mean, keep in mind, I just set this to 0, going from our current egg seed to a ton of frames. So that's a disadvantage to working with the Matsuda method or with a Shiny Charm, is that the number of eggs you're going to have to accept and reject is a lot higher, but you at least don't have to mess around with any sort of frame counting or timing or anything like that. This makes it the ideal method if you're going to do it. If you're going to do breeding in without any sort of tools, like if you don't have this whole RNG setup here, that's where you don't have to worry about dealing with hitting your frame or anything. You can just have a Shiny Charm, have a Matsuda method, go for it. So I'm not going to go through this method because I don't want to accept a ton of eggs.
because that would take quite a long time, and I am a bit of a masochist here, but I'm not that much of one. But I wanted to show you what that is like. That's the second method. So you're more than welcome to do it, but my recommendation would be, especially if you have all these tools, don't run the Matsuda method, don't have a shiny charm. If you already have a shiny charm, do the breeding on a different Gen 7 character, because that would make it easier. And again, you can make other TSVs shiny. By actually setting it in the edit TSV list. Here you go. So let's see, you get 1111. You can't actually see it, but yeah, edit the TSV list. So now, editing the TSV list, I added 1111. Now we see, okay, these frames will also get you an egg with a shiny value of that. So you can do your breeding on another character and then send it over to your main. And as long as the PSV matches your main, you can still get that shiny egg, and it'll be under your trainer ID and everything. So that would be the method I would prefer. But that's all there is to breeding. It's fairly simple. It's very powerful, and it will get you exactly what you want if you're patient enough. Next time, we are going to go ahead and do SOS RNG. This is a big one. This is going to be a long video, I can tell. But SOS RNG, while difficult, will get you probably the best rewards. It will get you hidden ability Pokemon, it will get you rare encounters, it can get you low-level, fully evolved Pokemon, as well as some Pokemon that don't appear any other way in this game. So, it's exciting. I personally love it, but not for everyone. And we'll get into it next time, you'll see. Until then, thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for joining, and I hope to see you all next time.